Hello students, welcome to the class. In the previous class, we have discussed about the channels of education, that particularly formal, informal and non-formal education patterns. In this class, we are going to discussing about concept of literacy. In particular, we could be able to discuss about the definition of literacy. Traditional definitions of literacy consider the ability to read, write, spell, listen and speak. A person who is able to read, write, spell, listen and speak, he could be able to claim himself as a literate person. We could also say which person is have the ability to read, write, speak, spell and the ability to listen, we may be called as literate person. UNESCO, one of the epoch body of the socio-economic and educational cooperation institution from the UNO, has given a profound definition about the literacy in 2018. According to UNESCO, literacy is the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate and compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy involves a continuum of learning to enable an individual to achieve his or her goals, to develop his or her knowledge and potential, and to participate fully in wider society. UNESCO definition of literacy have the profound meaning of literacy, as traditional definitions only confined to the ability of read, write, spell, listen and speak. UNESCO in a continuum of the definition will clearly identifies that it's not only the ability of identifying, understanding, interpret, create or communicate, compute something else which is printed or written material, but also it has a inner meaning that a person could able to claim himself then when he is involved in a continuous learning process, then only he could be able to inculcate a personality which help him to participate societal activities in his own way. Then he could be able to establish proper rapport between the fellow mates. When the literate person is able to build a better human relationship between the persons, those who are residing with his, then only he could be able to claim himself as a literate person. It's a profound definition given by the UNESCO. Then what is the next definition which is given by the National Literacy Mission? Clearly mentioned that as acquiring the skills of reading, writing, arithmetic and the ability to apply them in one's daily life or day-to-day life. Not only having the skills of reading, writing and arithmetic skills, but also when a person is able to apply those skills in his daily life, then only it may be regarded as a literate person, or it's called as literacy. Literacy is the ability to read and write with understanding. Mere having the ability of reading and writing, which is not a definition of literacy, but also having the ability of reading and writing in some sorts of understanding. It's the definition of literacy. Then another definition given by UNESCO, a literate person, one who can with understanding both read and write a short simple statements in his everyday life. The ability of reading, writing and with some sorts of understanding with his or her own life, day to day life, then only a literacy may happen in that person. The previous definition has a profound meaning of the literacy, but in this definition, it's a clear the ability of reading, writing, and understanding of the day-to-day life matters. Then next definition is given by the Census of India in 1991. It identifies a literate person who has the ability to read and write with understanding of any Indian language and not merely read and write. Suppose I have the ability to read in English, read in Hindi, and without having any understanding. It's not considered as the literacy. It's not the literate person who is supposed to do. A literate person has to do read, write, and proper understanding. Then only he may claim as himself literate person. The government has also identified that person as literate. In general, those who can read and write are not considered as literates. An individual need not to go to school to be considered as a literate. See, it's a very fishy definition in general. What we are doing, we are receiving education from formal education institutions like schools, colleges, and universities. Those persons are unable to go to the school and having the formal education should not be considered as illiterate persons. If the person has the ability to read, write, understanding without having any school certificate, he may also have the ability to claim himself as a literate person. The general concept is that not merely having the knowledge of reading, writing, but also how the person is able to lead his life with a proper manner, how the person is able to establish a good rapport between the fellow mates and human relations, the ability to build or establish a human relations between the fellow mates, then only he may called as a literate person. Literacy is not only confined to the word reading, writing, listen or spell, but also the ability of leading the life. In this class, we have discussed about the definitions of literacy. In the upcoming class, we are going to discuss about the missions, literary missions which are initiated by the government to improve the literacy rate among the Indian population. Thank you, students.